Hey you. Yes, you. So you finally hit level 80 in Guild Wars 2. Congratulations! The game celebrates by throwing 47 pop-ups at your face, unlocking half the planet, and then politely whispering in your ear, good luck. And then suddenly you're staring at raids, fractals, world versus world, legendary gear, story chapters, currencies you've never heard of, and a mini-map that looked like it filed a restraining order against you. And if you're thinking, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing right now, don't worry. That feeling, that's called endgame. You'll get used to it. We all did, and so will you. Here's the thing about Guild Wars 2's endgame. It doesn't tell you what to do. It hands you the entire sandbox and says, you're free now, go have fun, dragons and all. Which sounds great, until freedom turns into decision paralysis, and you're suddenly standing in Lion's Arch, spinning your character around in circles for 20 minutes, like a char chasing his own tail. So let's break down the obvious endgame options, what they're good for, who they're for, without melting your brain. Our first option, completing the story. The easiest, and honestly most logical thing to do after hitting 80, is just keep playing the story. Yes, really. If you hit level 80 and decide not to do any of the story or any of the content that goes along with it, you're basically walking past an entire game and pretending it doesn't exist. Play the game, take your time. Low stress, no timers, no groups, just vibes and lore. I know not everyone enjoys story in games like these, but personally, I really enjoy it. There's an absurd amount of in-depth lore in this game, and it would be a shame just to skip right over it. As you go through the story, you can also do map completion, which gives you many exploration rewards, materials, gold, skins, dyes. It's honestly extremely rewarding just to run around the map and find everything. If story honestly is not quite your thing, there's always Fractals. If you're looking for something more akin to your average MMO endgame, Fractals might actually be what you are looking for. Fractals are short dungeon-style content fully supported by their own in-game matchmaking and built around their own progression system called Agony. You start easy, learn the game mechanics, and gradually scale up as you go. No surprise difficulty hikes unless you explicitly queue for it through something called challenge mode. And also, as just a bonus, they're one of the best daily gold sources in the entire game. Fractal dailies are extremely worth doing, and you get 4 of them per difficulty tier, which means 16 total rewards at the end of the day for under an hour's worth of work. And to make it even more worth your while, Quick Play Fractals offer one of the easiest first legendary items in the entirety of Guild Wars 2, a pair of legendary gloves. With everything new being thrown at you, if you want clear, consistent rewards and content that respects your time as well as progresses your account by allowing you to get ascended gear, Fractals are kind of perfect to start with. That brings us to our next in-game task: farming legendary gear and the collections that are required to make them. Legendary gear is some of the most sought-after gear in the entirety of the game of Guild Wars 2. They have beautiful particle effects, amazing designs, and a lot of the times are just extremely large quality of life increases. While legendary gear may not have better stats than ascended gear, it has its own benefits. You can change the stat block on your gear whenever you want to, as well as reskin them for free at will. Now that we know why we want legendary gear, we need to know how to get legendary gear. There are multiple different ways to go about acquiring legendary gear. Most of these include crafting or gathering through collections. I'll use Prismatic Champion's Regalia as a good example. In order to get this legendary amulet, you have to complete a collection of quests or other smaller achievements called Seasons of the Dragons. This collection alone took me almost 2 weeks of playing the game every single day for an extended amount of time. Now, if you're going to try and grind these collections after hitting level 80, there are some important things to know. You need to take your time or you will burn yourself out. These are a grind. While Guild Wars 2 may not force you to grind things, it definitely doesn't not have the grind. Also, when gathering the materials to craft legendaries, some of them will require you to play different game modes other than the standard open world experience. Some of these are gathered through a game mode called World vs. World, which is PvP. My final tip is to break everything down into bite-sized chunks or daily grinds. You should think of grinding legendaries as, oh hey, I'm this amount closer, not, oh hey, I don't have this yet. Now that we've talked about legendary gear, why to get it, and how to get it, let's go ahead and talk about another point of the game that I've already referenced: World vs. World. World vs. World is a large-scale PvP on a massive map with hundreds of players, sieges, keeps, and a lot of organized chaos through people called commanders. If you don't usually like PvP in MMOs or games in general, then World vs. World is going to look like a massive daunting task where you have no idea what's going on and everything around you is flying at Mach speed, you die all of a sudden, and then you get discouraged. But don't fret, my friend, it's not as hard as you may think. I may catch some flack for this, but I firmly believe you can just turn your brain off in World vs. World under the right conditions. The main requirement to cut your brain off for World vs. World is to simply join a Zerg or a large group of players and spam your boons and abilities on your allies. You will get credit for the kills that they get. Getting credit means getting medals of honor and other rewards, and that translates to loot or progressing through the World vs. World tracks and obvious rewards. You don't need to be a god for World vs. World to be absolutely rewarding and to be a ton of fun. Simply give it a shot, see if you like it. If you don't, then only do it when it's required. World vs. World has its own progression, its own legendary gear, and its very own dedicated community. The grind is real, there's no sugarcoating that. But for players who enjoy PvP, World vs. World offers a long-term sense of growth that feels earned specifically through grinding PvP. By playing World vs. World, you don't just improve your gear, you also improve your decision-making, positioning, and ability to survive in absolute madness and chaos. If PvP is your thing, this can easily become your main endgame, hands down. If at the end of all that you still do not enjoy PvP, there's no end to the challenge that PvE provides as well. Like every other MMO, Guild Wars 2 also has raids. If you're looking for something that is mechanically complex, requires highly coordinated team play, and among the hardest content in Guild Wars 2, then you found your grind. Not only do raids provide a good challenge, but they also have their own legendary armor and exclusive crafting components. Raid legendary armor is also entirely PvE only. You do not have to touch PvP at all. So if you're a dedicated PvE player, this will be your way to progress. Unfortunately, raids have one big drawback right now. The main challenge isn't even actually doing the raid, it's just getting into them. There is currently no matchmaking for raids, though it is being worked on by the developers. So you'll mostly rely on guilds, discords, and other external tools to learn how to get into teaching raids. The raids are incredibly rewarding. They're very much optional. They're not something you need to rush into the moment you hit level 80. They are the peak endgame PvE content and difficulty. They'll still be there whenever you're ready. Now that we're nearing the end of the video, there's something important that you need to know. These are not the only things you can do in Guild Wars 2 to take up your time. There are events, achievements, jumping puzzles, mount unlocking, fashion goals, side collections, random things that you'll stumble upon at 2 AM. You don't need to do everything. You don't need to do things in the correct order. And you definitely don't need to rush. Break the big goals down into small ones. Focus on what's fun for you right now. And don't let the sheer amount of content convince you that you're behind. Level 80 isn't the end of the game. It's the moment where the game lets you know you're done with the tutorial. And honestly, that's kind of the best part. You are now free to explore Tyria in your way and play your game and your character. The fun is up to you now. And that's going to wrap it up for this video. If this video helped you in any way, please consider dropping a like. It really helps the channel more than you'd think. If you have questions, concerns, or you think I've missed anything, please let me know in the comments. I read all of them. And if you'd like to see this stuff live, I'm usually streaming on Twitch. Link will be in the description. Come hang out, ask questions, or just lurk while we grind. If you'd like to keep in touch with the community, please feel free to join the Discord. The link will also be in the description. Subscribe if you want to see more of my YouTube content, chill streams, and my in-game questionable decisions.